Hello, my name is Steve Capper, and for the next 16 to 18 minutes I'm going to go through what I'm going to call a TED for pre-sales. In other words, I'm going to, in this time period, go through some of the major concepts and thinking and some controversial topics that I think pre-sales should be addressing as we move forward. And a little bit about my background. Some of you probably know me. I work worldwide helping great technical teams, helping them understand that their job is to understand the customer's business and deliver customer business solutions. And underpinning all that, of course, is soft skills, process and methodology. And as I said, I work worldwide for a number of companies and have done so for 15 years. And prior to that, I worked in the industry running large pre-sales teams across Asia Pacific. The purpose of this TED presentation really is to put in a nutshell all of the concepts that pre-sales people are going to need as they move forward in their career. So I'd like to start with two controversial subjects. The first thing is I'd like the pre-sales people to stop talking to the customers. Pre-sales people are really good at talking. Some of you can probably talk under wet cement for 3 hours about your wonderful product. But I want you to stop talking to the customers and start listening. And listen to understand. Not listen so that you can tell people about your wonderful product. And I'm going to come back to that point in a minute. But my second controversial statement regarding the roles of pre-sales people is that I want you to stop loving your products. Many of you can talk for hours about your fantastic features and functions and you absolutely love them. But I want you to start loving the outcome of the implementation of your solution. Not its features and functions, but how it saved money, saved time, less risk, created value for the customer. This is going to mean some changes. You're going to have to learn and be a lot better at asking questions, listening. And also you're going to have to be a lot better at seeing the value that has been realized by the implementation of your solution. And I'm going to come back to that in a little bit as well. I think the world is changing. Pre-sales used to be a role where salesmen would call you in, you'd do a presentation, one in the morning, another one in the afternoon to another salesman, get on a plane, do something else. I think that those days are beginning to move away. The days of I'll get my techies to talk to your techies is also moving away. Customers want business solutions. So as we move forward, the role of some of the pre-sales people is going to be more of a business focus, understanding the customer's business and then going back to the office and working out where their business fits into the solutions that we've got. And I'd like to introduce another controversial subject, and that's called over-the-horizon thinking. Many pre-sales people are called in by salespeople to solve the problem or deliver a solution to the customer's problem that's on the table right now. I want to change that. As we move forward in the sales cycle with that problem, I want the pre-sales people to be understanding and cognizant of the fact that potentially the customer has several other problems. that they may think that you cannot help them with. And during discovery, I want us to start thinking about what question we could ask the customer, maybe even only in the last minute, that could uncover another opportunity, and for the customer to say, well, we are looking at that, but it's not our project, it's somebody else's project. And by one question, we've uncovered, we've lifted the rock, and underneath there is another tremendous opportunity. I'd also like to highlight that that opportunity that we uncover does not have to be something that your range of solutions or products or machines specifically solves. Because at the very, very top of the pyramid, is your job to sell products? Is your job to demo products? At the top of the pyramid of our lives, is it to earn more money? Perhaps the top of the pyramid of our lives is to be successful, get our family to be successful, have a positive impact on the world. The same with pre-sales. To me, at the top of the pyramid in pre-sales, your job is to make the customer successful. And everything after making the customer successful, everything that cascades down from that, be it working with the salespeople, delivering customer solutions, and everything is a direct result of your thinking in that space. If you think you have great products, if you think the customer can be successful with more of your solutions, then look for those opportunities. And at the same time, if you're giving customers advice, or they ask advice with regard to other products or solutions that you don't have, then they start to perceive you as a valuable resource, someone they can absolutely trust, and the habit of helping the customer, the road to the trusted advisor, is now the journey that you can complete. So let's look at a word that I've been using for a minute here, and that word is solution. Everybody says they're a solutions vendor. A solution, ladies and gentlemen, lives in the mind of the customer, and your job to find that out. So let's talk a little bit about communication skills that I expect you to have. You know what? Pre-sales people, in fact, generally as a community, the human race is afraid of silence. So what is our job? Our job is to ask questions of the customer, and I'll go into that in detail. But I'd also like to remind you of the communication skills. When a customer asks you a question, you always wait 2 seconds. In 94% of cases, customers will continue on. Does your product have this? And you wait. The reason I want this, and they talk and talk and talk, and all you do is listen and don't interrupt. When you finally do answer, you answer yes. You talk for 42 seconds, and then you do something very important. You play tennis with the customer. So the customer asks you a question, you wait the 2 seconds, you answer in 42 seconds, and then you say, and Mr. Customer, how do you do that now? In other words, in any dialogue, any conversation with the customer, let's get the customer talking. In fact, in any conversation we have with a customer, any meeting, if we talk more than the customer, because we love our product, that meeting is a failure. So we know some of these skills already. Everybody knows, everybody has been to listening classes. But I want you to make sure you listen to understand, not listen to sell, or listen to reply, or listen to talk. You listen to respond. So one of the other things I want you to think about in the communication skills is your ability to utilize another phrase that we use all the time. Mr. Customer, if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to call me. Do they ever call you? Of course they never call you. So stop using that expression. Start using the expression, Mr. Customer, if I have any more questions, can I call you? And 90%, more than 90% of customers say, of course. And we start the process of the consultative sale. The consultative sale where we understand about what they want, why they want it, and the business impact that it's going to deliver. So let's move forward a little bit more as far as pre-sales people are concerned, and let's understand a little bit more about your role in the sales cycle. And normally that role, the first step in that role is when Mr. Salesman comes in and says, let's go out and talk to the customer. Always talk to. We don't want to do that, remember? We want to start listening. So when the salesman says that, Mr. Salesman, can we listen as well? And by the way, I have some range of questions I'd like to ask that customer. So one of the things that we do at the very beginning of the sales cycle is qualify the salesperson, because our time is valuable and we're going to utilize it very, very effectively. So we're going to ask questions. Who are we seeing? How many are we seeing? Is there any taboo subjects? What should I wear? All the rest of these things to make sure we do a great job. Now, these questions are not intelligence tests. They're not an interrogation. We don't want to be part of the sales prevention team, but what we want is when we get involved, things happen. A valuable person helping the customer. And just on that point, I don't believe, and this is the fourth controversial subject, I don't believe pre-sales are a resource of the salespeople. We're part of the team. We should not be treated as a resource. Come along to this meeting just in case they have difficult questions. Just do your normal presentation. Come do this. Do a demo. Look, we have to think together. Some of you have been in your communities, in your companies for a lot longer than the salespeople. And I want you to use your judgment. One of the words that I use with salespeople is, yes, I can come along to our meeting next week as long as we find out who is coming along and 3 or 4 or 5 other questions so that we all get our ducks in a line. So let's talk a little bit more about the concept of discovery before we present our wonderful solution. What is discovery? Where we sit down with the customer, ask our planned, structured questions so that we can understand what they want, why they want it, and specifically the business impact they're looking for. I've dealt with a couple of vendors and they say, yes, of course we do discovery. And I say, well, what process do you use? And they say, well, we ask questions. Look, if you don't have a specific process of what you do in the first minute, the second minute, the 7th minute, how do you pass the ball between each other? How do you handle passwords? How do you get someone out of trouble? Who answers pricing questions? How do we finish off? How do we understand expectations? All of these things should be part of the methodology that you have as a pre-sales person. So let's just have a drink here, understand a little bit more about what we've done. We've discovered our consultative skills, we've discovered discovery, and there are 4 types of discovery, remember. There's face-to-face, over the telephone. There's the discovery face-to-face inside the presentation room before you turn on the projector. There's the 7 questions on the whiteboard that we go through before we turn on the projector. There's always time to ask questions. And once we've finished discovery or multiple discovery, we then have to deliver a compelling business impact solution, a customer-oriented presentation that makes the customer sit up and finally say, wow, a vendor that understands what I need, why I need it, and the business impact that delivers to the company and also to me personally. So little bits of ideas in that space. Just think of asking the business people along, but only for the first 18 minutes. Then you can go into some of your technology. In the consultative sale, you know everyone in the room. If you don't know everyone in the room, it's like throwing around a loaded rifle. It could go off. I've seen so many sales lost or postponed by vendors that don't take the time to understand every single person that walks into that room and consult them with the project manager to say, and who are those people over there? We know how to handle difficult questions. 2 more topics before I finish here. And that topic is to understand your role and responsibility after the sale. I want every single pre-sales person that's watching this video to realise that in their top pocket they've got to have 3, 4 or 5 references, personal references, where they know the value that we as a vendor have delivered. And you start to use those in your presentations, in your discussion with the client. Storytelling, selling. Nothing is more powerful. Instead of moving away from talking to, we start to listen and use our stories. So keep in touch with your successes. Make an excuse to go and see them. Volunteer a quarterly business review. Volunteer a 1-hour presentation to update all of the new people in the customer. You're the people that have had the relationship, sometimes for years, with that client. Take advantage of it, because remember, your job is to make the customer successful. I'd like to finish now. If there's any more topics you'd like me to talk about, or maybe an email, here's my email address. And likewise, if you'd like to look up more information about what I do, have a look at my website. There's several other videos on my website, and here is my website address right here. I'd like to thank you all very much and finish with the statement that pre-sales is the best job in the world. And I hope to meet you all one day. Thank you very much.